if you are one of the many women who don't like wearing thongs for the reason that, hey, I don't like having a thin piece of fabric up my butt, then you are not alone, and this tutorial is for you, or this video is for you. So the thing with wedgies is that it can mean a couple things. It can mean something's too big or something's too small. It can also relate to fabric, elastic, your size, and your pattern. So, you know, I'm not here today to tell you, hey, this is the one thing that causes wedgies and this is how you fix it. Rather, I'm going to kind of tell you different causes of it and how to fix it for each of those, so that when you go back to your underwear that you're wearing, you can say like, hey, I think it's this and I know how to fix it. So 4 reasons that I have. One is, and they go through, I kind of want you, if you have an issue with wedgies, kind of go through these, go through the causes in this order, in order to think about how to fix it. So first you want to go over size, fabric, elastic, and then go to your pattern. So let's go to the first one, size. So I know this sounds silly, but just make sure that you're wearing the right size, because I know having women in here, the studio, boutique, whatever, I know women like to feel sexy in their underwear, so they sometimes like to size down, but if your underwear is too small, it is certainly going to go right up in your butt cheeks and give you a wedgie. So on another note, I'm saying butt cheeks because it's much better than butt crack or ass crack, or there's no like right word here. I feel like that's the most PG word to use. So just make sure that you're wearing the right size. I know that, and also, so take your measurements, but also take your measurements throughout the month too, because you might be a couple inches bigger around that time of the month, and that will certainly cause, could cause, I know for me, like I carry, I mean I'm small, but like I carry my weight in my butt. I don't really have a frame, but I do have a butt. So that's kind of where I feel it at that time of the month. So that would definitely, if you're a little bit bigger and your underwear could be a little bit smaller, that feel a little bit smaller than normal, and could be causing a wedgie. So if you are wearing the right size, the next thing to ask yourself is, or to kind of consider, is fabric. So I know a lot of women prefer cotton underwear versus Lycra. And which I get it, just personal preference. Cotton underwear is a little bit softer, but you want to keep in mind that cotton underwear usually bunches more than Lycra or synthetic underwear. So there has been a lot of fabric technology in lingerie, and a lot of the newer Lycra, those seamless underwear that you see in Target and Urban Outfitters, they have like a special blend of spandex in it that has excellent recovery, and they won't bunch up as much. So you want to think about fabric. Also, fabric with that is, if listen, everybody has their like tried and true underwear, and once you find something, you wear it the heck out of it, and you never want to buy another one. You just want to keep it forever. I get it. But spandex, Lycra, elastane naturally gives out. So if you've had a pair of underwear that didn't give you wedgies before, but now it is, it might be because your Lycra is going or just like wearing away, and the spandex isn't good in it as it was when you first bought it. So that might be causing the fabric to kind of not have as good recovery and to give you a wedgie. If that is not the case, then you want to look at elastics. So it's a fine line here, because if you stretch out your elastic, you have to find like a good balance. So if you have your butt and you have the fabric that goes over your butt, and if the fabric is too loose, obviously it's going to slide in the butt cheeks. But if the fabric is too tight, then it's also going to slide right in the butt cheeks and give you a wedgie. So there's like a delicate balance there about you know, what's the good amount of tension around your butt. So I'm not gonna go over this, but I did do a whole blog post on the amount of tension to apply to your elastics. So you wanna think about this, is I don't stretch my elastics while sewing, but I do give it a little bit of tension because the act of sewing it does stretch it out. So you don't want to stretch it out that your fabric's loose and it's giving you wedgie, but you also don't want to stretch it too much that it's too tight. It's not only giving you a quadruple butt, VPLs, but over time, as you wear it, it's going to creep up in your butt cheeks. Side note, I wonder how many times in this video I'm gonna say butt cheeks. If anybody is counting, please let me know. So if you've gone through those things, so I'm wearing the right size, I have the right fabric, I know that I'm giving the right tension, which again, check out that blog post, check out that blog post. It's also an Instagram TV and also YouTube video on the right amount of tension. I actually put my camera up and showed how much tension I apply to elastics. So if you've gone through those, then move on to pattern. So there are a couple things, there are two fixes for patterns. And both of these, in my pattern making experience, I've had pattern makers that say, yes, this works, and I've had a pattern maker say, no, that doesn't work. So again, I'm not gonna give you a quick fix, this is what causes wedgies, but it's something to think about, and it could be causing your wedgie. So I'm going to switch views with cameras here, so give me 1 second. Okay, so this is the Madalynne Simplicity 8229, and I apologize that I can't give you a full look down. I had issues with my tripod this morning, so this is what you get, but I think it's pretty clear. So when there are some pattern makers who think that if you curve out the back leg line right here, and where you curve it out and how much you curve it out, again, it's going to depend on your bum, and also where the crotch or gusset seam is. So you're going to have to try it on and kind of see where it's kind of going into your butt, but curving this out and then bringing it back in, it's giving you extra fabric here to cover your butt, and it could prevent a wedgie. The other thing that I've seen with some pattern makers is they actually curve the crotch seam here. So they curve it up, and what this does is this gives, this pulls the fabric down, it gives a little bit more tension, so it's less likely to creep up into your butt cheeks. So the only other alteration, pattern alteration, which it's a full kind of tutorial by itself, is if you are a seamstress, you've probably heard of a full bust adjustment. So there's what's called a full butt adjustment, where basically you add width and you add length without altering the waistline. But again, that is a separate kind of video, but I want to kind of give you that tip. And then if that is something that you think could happen, I would suggest signing up for the sloper class, the virtual sloper class, because I do go through those steps. So that was today's IG Live. Today's Tuesday. Thursday, I'm gonna be back and discussing needles and thread for sewing lingerie. It's one of those things where like you get into sewing lingerie and you sit down and you're like, wait a second, do I need a special needle? Do I need a special thread? So I'm going to be going over that on Thursday.